Hello and a very warm welcome to Daily Dispatch, a show that gives you all the latest news and updates from the digital ecosystem. I'm Priya Sheth and I'm here with the top news headlines that we've been tracking this evening. Well, the National Startup Advisory Council has nominated 28 members from the startup ecosystem to advise the government on measures to nurture and strengthen startups in the country. Prominent members from this council include top bosses of Ola, Baiju, Sequoia Capital, and many others in the startup ecosystem. Well, moving on to the second headline of the day, sources suggest that the Indian government has asked WhatsApp to withdraw its proposed policy changes. Do remember that WhatsApp has been in news of late for concerns around its privacy policies. The government has also asked WhatsApp to submit responses on issues like privacy, data transfer, as well as sharing policies. Well, deep tech startup Gigadyne Energy, which develops quick charging batteries for EVs, has raised $5 million from V-Guard Industries. The funds will be utilized for research in India as well as to scale up business globally. Well, moving on to the final headline of the day, Amazon India has partnered with Startup India to launch an accelerator program for startups in the consumer product space who want to go global. This will be supported by both money as well as mentorship, and the top 3 startups in this program will receive a $50,000 equity-free grant, which will be given by the e-commerce giant.
Well, moving on to our second segment where we have somebody who's very prominent in the online insurance space. I have with me Mr. Yashish Dahiya, who is the founder and the group CEO of PolicyBazar. Thank you, Mr. Dahiya, for joining us today. I know the last couple of months have been very interesting for you at PolicyBazar. Lots of people signing up for insurance with health taking center stage.
Yes, in the sense, since unfortunately the pandemic happened in March, there was an increased demand for health and life insurance because what you saw was that when people reached hospital, less than 10% of them had any form of insurance. So clearly there was a need felt. There was a cost associated with hospitalization, and some people did buy insurance. However, that really was high till about July or so. Since July, we've actually been seeing health insurance or life insurance both being somewhat subdued. And in November, actually, the industry degrew. Both the life and the health insurance industry both degrew. So it is not like, you would expect in a pandemic like this, people would be queuing up to buy health and life insurance, but that's not happening. I think people are not realizing still that there can be a big cost and it does need to be covered. In January, we've seen a pickup again. So it's very difficult to tell these days what's going on in the sense, there's no particular reason why suddenly in January. I think it's because as people are getting back to offices, they're saying, okay, before we get back to office, let's at least get a health insurance or a life insurance cover. And I think that's what we are seeing. We're seeing a resurgence in January.
So among the other insurances that are available, like for example, travel insurance, etc., which are the areas that have seen some sort of degrowth where we are still to see recovery?
Oh, travel went down like 95% in March, and it has not really come back. It's back to about 15% of the original. So it may have tripled from March, but it's still very, very low. So that segment has certainly not recovered because international travel, as you can imagine, is very difficult in this environment. So yeah, that's the situation. So travel has not come back. Motor initially had slowed down, but has picked up. So we've been seeing all kinds of trends. It's very difficult for anybody to predict what's going to happen next month. But motor has come back because people have started driving. So I think it's all linked to pandemic hits. People are worried. Then people go home. People feel safe at home. People think nothing's going to happen to them. So they stop buying insurance. They stop driving cars. So they stop even getting their cars insured. And as they are coming back, as they're starting to drive and, various things, then they're coming back to, buy their car insurance and then their life insurance. There's been a big uptake in savings products as well. Because with the fixed deposit rates coming down so low, many of the investment products have become very attractive with the tax saving, etc. They have become fairly attractive from a financial returns perspective also. And hence, a lot of people have gone in for that. In addition, they give you the life insurance cover as well. So that part is also increasing.
So as we enter into 2021, we're in the early part of the year. I wanted to understand what will be your key focus areas at PolicyBazaar. I know that you all are dabbling across several spaces at this point in time, but if you could highlight the top three focus areas for you this year.
I think one is going to be around customer service and claims and how much we can do there. There are, of course, laws we have to follow. It's not very straightforward, but we are really pushing the boundaries there to make sure we are able to serve our customers in a way that they expect. Just to put some very simple things out there. Just refunds, endorsements, issuances, any cancellations, claims. When people have claims, how much support they can get, both in terms of motor and two-wheeler or health insurance and life insurance. A lot of effort going into that area. I think the second is on the health ecosystem space. We are very keen to see what we can do there to help our customers. The third part is corporate insurance. So far we've only been in the retail space. But now we are looking for some of the SMEs. There's a lot of less than 200 people organizations. I don't know whether to call them small. Yeah, they are small enterprises, and they also have significant insurance needs, and we would love to be there and help them solve those issues. And there is possibly some offline distribution as well that we'd look at. There's also some international that we're looking at, maybe some operations in Southeast Asia, etc.
I'm going to come to the international expansion in a bit, but I wanted to understand from you, what is the kind of premiums trajectory that you will see going ahead?
See, we are doing roughly about 5,000 crores of premium now. We continue to grow at about 30-40% per year. So we should see that growth, and the renewal pipeline is building up. But plus, the offline as well as corporate should give a boost to the premium numbers. So I think it will be interesting.
2021 is going to be a landmark year for you, and then, as you've maintained over the last couple of years, this is the year that you plan to go public. Are you still sticking by with your plans of launching your IPO this year?
Yes, I hope we will go public this year.
And are you looking at an additional round of fresh funding before you go public?
We might do one in the next few months. So we'll see. We don't need it because there is a lot of capital in the company. But then we have all these plans, especially as we look at Southeast Asia and what we want to do there. It may require some capital. And it's a good time to be raising money, just given the amount of liquidity in the market. So yes, most likely we will raise some capital.
So if you talk about the kind of, I think the last time we had spoken, you had mentioned that profitability is something that you have been striving for. I believe FY 17-18 were profitable years, but then there were some losses that took place. So are you back on the profitability roadmap?
No, so I'll explain. I think there is a bit of difference in maybe what I said and what was understood. Profitability is something every business has to achieve, and so do we. There is, of course, a direction that we take at any stage. We are still on the growth path, not on the profit-seeking path. We are still on the growth path. However, I think what I must have said is one should try to avoid wastages, which lead to losses, unnecessary losses, right? So wastages would be where you're making a cost which will not have normal returns, and you just do it just for the heck of it. So those we have reduced. So this year the company is pretty much at break even. Next year we'll be profitable, significantly profitable actually. So PolicyBazaar is profitable, but we also have PolicyBazar, and PolicyBazar has got losses this year. However, and we also have an operation in Dubai, in UAE. Sorry, not Dubai, in UAE. And that operation also consumes money because it's still very early. But I think as we look at the next year, the PolicyBazaar profitability should be able to cover up, and even the PaisaBazaar losses will come down quite significantly. They are pretty much going to be a break even next year. Uh, our focus is not profits, and I don't know how to say that without it looking wrong. Of course, every company has to make profits, but our focus is not profits, because see, we gain nothing by just being profitable. I think we gain a lot by having a slightly higher impact on consumers. And thus, for the next few years, you will see us continuing to invest while we will be profitable, but that's not the driving goal. The driving goal is going to be continued engagement with consumers and what all we can do there. Because you can imagine, right? If I had to become profitable, there would be
Right.
almost no point investing in customer service
Hmm.
or the claims support or in trying to go international. So all of these, or in the healthcare ecosystem. So a lot of these are costs right now, but they would help us be in better position in the future.
I want to ask you one final question before I let you go in terms of revenues and targets that you have for the year ahead. Run us through some numbers in terms of what is the kind of revenues that you are aspiring to hit by FY22. Also, if you could run us through any numbers in terms of claims and actions that you expect over the next 2 to 3 years.
So see, we have two significant companies, PolicyBazaar and PaisaBazaar, and combined, we would be doing more than 2 million transactions a month. I think from a revenue perspective, I did mention PolicyBazaar will have about 5,000 crores of insurance premium. PaisaBazaar also does a lot of lending. And so overall, we'll be close to 1,000 crores in revenue. And I think we will grow to about 1,400, 1,500 crores next year, which is just, standard. Let's see what happens if we can expand into corporate insurance, and if that can make us grow faster.
All right. On that note, we wish you all the very best for all your endeavors in the insurance
Thank you.
space and also for your upcoming IPO. We'll be tracking that very closely at Yourstory TV. Thank you so much for being a part of Daily Dispatch.
Time now to wrap up this edition of Daily Dispatch. Thank you so much for logging in. Goodbye and see you tomorrow.